Good evening. I'm Teddy, and you are listening to Night Talk. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes before I go any further. Shout out to the mob, all my other bears, I call the Grizzlies. Please hit the like on your way in, and to the honey bears, a special welcome. To my moderators, Baby Juju and Vicky Black, I see you. I probably won't be on that late. I'm going to try not to because there is so much to cover. So much to cover. So I'm just going to hit maybe the high points. It's 11:39. It's May 21st, 2025. All right. So I'm just going to give it a little bit. I'll play some music very softly in the background until a few more people come in. Okay. Give you a moment. Because there is a lot of things going on, lots of moving parts. Lots and lots and lots. Okay. Remember, I told you yesterday anything can happen. That this case may take some twists and turns. Anything right up to the last minute, something can happen. Okay. I see a few of you, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I see Cups of Conversation. Joanne came in. All right. So, welcome to another installment of Analyze This Mess. Tonight, it's DForDirection. Because when the court speaks, it's not a suggestion. In every legal proceeding, the judge gives direction, a clear, lawful path forward. Whether it's a deadline, a correction order, or a disclosure requirement, that direction carries the weight of authority. You don't get to play hide and seek with due process. In this case, the court given John Doe direction. Disclose your identity. There was a May 23rd order to do that. Well, the judge responded, and John Doe has been given an extension to the date when he has to disclose his identity. That's not all. So DForDirection. Okay. Why did I do this? Right now. It's a lot. There are now 2 different deadlines. Actually, there's extensions, let me just see if I can go through a couple of orders. Also, there were 2 orders that came down today. Let's deal with the first one so that I can, just keep everything in order. I'm not going to, go through it all, really deep dive, but just enough so you understand the importance, why. Okay. What came in? Remember, there were 2 motions to stay. That was numbers 46 and 47. Okay. Let me just do this because it would be helpful if I have it up as well. So let's do this here. Like I did last night. Okay, just getting it set up so you'll be able to see it. Let me roll this up. So, when we last looked at this together, there's the documents along the left side here. So, remember there were 2 motions to stay, numbers 46 and 47. Well, those were struck down. They're gone. Okay. In addition to that, look, there was, oh, wow, it's just so much. Let me see if I can look at my other screen. Can you see? Let me take this. You should be able to see that. Hang on. Just let's see if we can make this a little bit larger for me. There's a lot of detail here, guys. Let's try it this way. I made it larger. Okay. This first countdown that you see, 13 days, 0 hours, 9 minutes, and 56 seconds, has to do with this first order, 58 that came in. You can see the numbers 46 and 47 gone, struck down today. I'll show you the order. Also, there was another motion that was filed this morning. It was entered this morning, and it was struck tonight. Okay. I didn't even get a chance. I just peeked at it, and it disappeared. Okay. There's so much going on. So let's take a look at this first order. Order on the motion to stay. Okay. Just pull it up. I want to make sure it comes in the box. So just bear with me. And here it is again. Okay. It was an order striking non-party John Doe's objections 46, 47, and extending deadline for objections and disclosure of identity. So we've got two different, I'll just say dates to keep in mind here. And because of that, it's moving my response dates as well. All right. So let's see if we can get through this. It's before the court is third party John Doe's objection to Magistrate Judge Elizabeth A. Stafford's order denying Doe's motion to seal his contact information, setting a deadline for Doe to disclose his identity. And Doe's emergency motion to stay the deadline to disclose his identity. All right. So the seal and the deadline. ECF numbers 46 and 47. For the reasons set forth below, Doe's filings are stricken. Okay. 1. Doe submitted his objection and motion twice. Remember I said I talked about it last night. It appeared to be, the same, but I hadn't read through it, finished it, comparing. These documents, the judge says, are nearly identical, and the latter purports to be a corrected document. As such, the court will refer only to the latter filing, ECF number 47. Okay. In March and April of 2025, plaintiff issued subpoenas pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 45 on Third Party Block Incorporated, seeking information regarding all Block Cash App accounts linked to Danielle Robertson, aka Danny Robertson, including the Cash App truth teller Danny. Okay. See ECF 25, ECF number 38. In response, Doe filed a motion to quash subpoenas and for protective order That was ECF number 27. A notice of contact information submitted under seal and motion to seal contact information, ECF number 26, and a motion to seal contact information number 30. Those objections will be stricken first. Those objections cite to non-existent, seemingly AI-generated authority. Doe makes several references to Navarro and Sedgwick Claims Management Service Incorporated, and it gives us 2015 WL 3757129 ND Cal June 16, 2015, and claims that this case held a limited special appearance to challenge a subpoena, does not constitute general appearance or jurisdictional consent. ECF number 47, page ID 448, see also ID, as established in Navarro and versus Sedgwick Claims Management Services, Inc., at that same number, ND, same number, June 16, 2015, a limited special appearance to quash a subpoena does not equate to general appearance or submission to jurisdiction. This is what he's citing. Okay. The judge wrote, this case does not exist. The citation that was referred to, the one, it refers to another case, Weidman versus Watson, 617, appendixes 891, 2015, WL 3757129, 10th Circular, 2015, which does not mention subpoenas or motions to quash. Put simply, John Doe made a reference to a case that didn't apply, did not exist. This Navarro Sedgwick. In fact, the citation referred to something different. Okay. And it does not mention subpoenas or motion to quash. The court is unable to locate a case in any court called Navarro versus Sedgwick Claims Management Serves, and there's a superscript too, and I'll go to that, which says, Doe also cites Strike 3 Holdings LLC versus Doe 964 F3D 1203 DC Circular 2020, and claims that this case held that a court errs by ordering identity disclosure of an anonymous person before resolving a pending motion to quash, ECF number 47, page ID 448. While this case does exist, Strike 3 Holdings versus Doe does not mention a motion to quash. Doe's argument regarding Strike 3 Holdings reasoning may have been AI generated because it is nonsensical and not based on that opinion. See Buckner versus Hilton Glob, number 324 CV 375 RGJ 2025, WL 890175 at 14 WD, Kentucky, March 21st, 2025, stating that the court has a reason to believe a pro se party used AI in drafting his Fourth Amendment complaint because one cited case does not exist and another cited case does not discuss what the party claimed it did. There's a lot in that. Okay. One of the reasons. Let's keep going. This non-existent case has the hallmarks of cases generated by AI found in other courts. Sanders versus United States, number 24 CV 1301, 2025, WL 957 666 at, and there's 4, Federal CL, March 31st, 2025. It is no secret that generative AI programs are known to hallucinate non-existent cases. And with the advent of AI, courts have seen a rash of cases in which both counsel and pro-litigants have cited such fake, hallucinated cases in their briefs. I'm just reading through this, okay? Please be respectful in the chat. Please be respectful in your comments. This is serious. This is for education, criticism, because this affects, it's not just the defendant. This affects the plaintiff, myself. This affects, when you start moving things, moving dates, shifting things around, delaying, it's the judge's decision. You need to understand this is one portion of, this is one order, okay? Let me just get through it, okay? As I was saying, as reading from this order, and pro se litigants have cited such fake, hallucinated cases in their briefs. So this has happened before, all right? By pro se and by those that are represented, by counsel, okay? By referencing a non-existent case, and if I'm reading too slowly for you, then this might not be the channel, okay? Because things like this, I'm going to have to read maybe a couple of times and get some clarification, because their dates or his dates are moving, my dates are moving relative to that, and you'll understand why. Okay, so I'm kind of reading for understanding again. Okay. By referencing a non-existent case, Doe has wasted judicial resources and violated his obligations pursuant to Federal Rule Civil Procedure 11B2, which states, by presenting to the court a pleading, written motion, or other paper, an attorney or unrepresented party certifies that the claims, defenses, and other legal contentions are warranted by existing law. Pro se filers enjoy the benefits of a liberal construction of their pleadings and filings. Boswell versus Mayer, 169 F3D 384 387, 6th Circular, 1999. Although Doe is self-represented, this does not excuse a violation of Rule 11. King versus 1B Prop Holdings Acquisition, 635 F Supplemental 2D 651 661 ED Michigan 209. Pro se litigants, those that are representing themselves, such as myself and John Doe, like represented litigants, may be sanctioned for Rule 11 violations. ID, the court warns Doe and all other litigants involved in this case that they may be subject to sanctions if they violate Rule 11, including by citing non-existent cases. There's a superscript on that is 3. Doe is not a party in this case. However, he has made an appearance, is filing motions and other documents, and is actively litigating to protect his interests. See ECF 26, 27, 30, 34, 46, 47, 48, 54. Wait a minute. And today, it's not in here. There was a 57. Okay. This is just John Doe. It goes on to say all litigants, everyone, regardless of party status or pro se status, have an obligation to follow local rules and federal rules of civil procedure. Okay. Second, shall I go on? Let's just, there's a second one. Has to do with local rules here, each federal court, state have rules, things to be presented. Let's just read it. Those filings do not comply with Eastern District of Michigan Local Rule 51A2, which requires filings to be double-spaced and contain page numbers. Because Doe's filings are not double-spaced, his filings may also not comply with Local Rule 71D 3A, which states the text of a brief supporting a motion or response, including footnote signatures, may not exceed 25 pages. Failure to comply with local rules is a basis to strike filings. Ordos City Hatai Auto Body Company Ltd. versus Diamond Rigging Company LLC 695F Appendix 864 876 Circular 2017 Hansberry versus United States number 212733 2022 WL 1010-281 at 2 6 Circular March 15 2022. For the reasons set forth above, Doe's objections, ECF numbers 46, 47 are stricken. Doe, listen carefully, I'm listening carefully. Doe will receive another opportunity to file objections to Judge Stafford's order that comply with the local rules and Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11. His corrected objection must be filed by June 3rd, 2025. And this direction, DForDirection, that is the countdown to filing, corrected if he wants, or filing. He's given another opportunity to correct 46, 47, because 46, 47, they were duplicated or duplicates. Okay, that's what I'm taking away from it so far. Now I could, I need to say this. I'm learning. This is fair use commentary. This is live. People are listening to me. I'm taking my time. This is not a show. Okay? It isn't. Not a show for saying, oh, this happened or that happened. Look at. No. Because all of this applies. I'm a pro se as well. So I have to be aware of all of this. Okay? When you come before a federal court, judge, it's serious. Okay? It is. And the judge, this is a magistrate, different than the U.S. district judge, both working together. But the U.S. United States District Judge Levy, she is a lifetime appointed by the president. The magistrate is elected by another, court of judges. And these judges have clerks, and they're very busy. And as you can see, these judges are reading this case right to the moment. Okay? The magistrate and the judge, they're working on this case. Okay? All right. So respecting their time is very important. Respecting what's presented and how much, and if it's, it's their decision. Right? I go on. Parties. Okay. Did I come past the June 3rd, 2025? And it must, let's go back to that because I just broke it up when I pointed out the countdown. So you would know. Let me back up real quick. Doe will receive another opportunity to file objections to Judge Stafford's order that comply with the local rules and Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11. His corrected objection must be filed by June 3rd, 2025, and it must contain a certification that he has checked all citations and ensured the content is correct, applicable to the case, and makes sense, unlike the stricken filing. The judge called it, was it nonsensical? So the case that she was talking about, one wasn't even a case that was cited. Another one was cited and unrelated. It didn't contain information relating to this case. But Doe has an opportunity. to file objections that comply. Deadline by June 3rd. Okay. And that he has checked all citations and ensured the content is correct, applicable to the case, and makes sense, unlike the stricken filing. Parties may respond to Doe's objections within 14 days of his corrected objection. So, I filed a response to his motion to stay 4647 stricken. Okay. And if he responds, on the June 3rd, then I will have another, it's like the clock set within 14 days of his corrected objection, which puts it out to June 17th. But wait, this is an order for extending the deadline for objections. We've covered that. The next part is disclosure of identity. Okay. And you know what? There was somebody on this platform who I shall not name, who in a, commentary was playing my video, which is fine, fair use commentary. But this individual was like kind of, like motioning their hand. Come on, read faster. Like, get with it. If you're watching and you don't know who this is directed to, it's not who you think. If you're watching and it's not fast enough for you, you can go to Pacer and you can read it for yourself. Okay? You don't have to watch me. If you're watching. Because you said it was too slow. So if it's too slow, just move along. Okay? Next. And that's not said in any, that's just plain facts. Okay? Put it on, speed it up, and then listen to it. Okay? Next. Finally, the court will extend the deadline for Doe to disclose his identity to June 20th, 2025. So that would come 3 days after I have that 14-day window to respond, if I'm keeping this straight, to the corrected objection. Now, keep in mind, the previous order, you know what? It's 12/19. And I haven't even gotten to the next one. Okay. Can you just give me like 10 more minutes? We can just wrap this up. I've been on 40 minutes. I know I came on late. I came on late because there's a lot of reading. There's a lot of detail. This is a lot. Okay. And I told my audience last night, I said, anything can happen. We're looking at one day, we're looking at this so much time. I said, it can be reset. I don't know. I don't know tomorrow. None of us do. Remember, I said, I've got to get to Friday. I said, no, we've got to get past Friday. And look, the order, I said, the judge hasn't, come back with her order. It could come in, right? So now that resets the clock for the second, that moves May 23rd now to June 20th. In her previous order, after John Doe was supposed to disclose his identity on May 23rd, and we'll say June 20th, if I've got it, my understanding, then I was to respond to the motion to quash after he had revealed his identity. Okay. So this 14 days, and I will get it clarified just to make sure it's all in order. My understanding is the 14-day window for this order has to do with responding to a corrected objection, not to the motion to quash, because that date where he's supposed to disclose his identity has also moved out. So then that would give me, I believe it's to July the 5th. I have to look at the date. But I want to be sure. There's a lot going on, guys. Okay. There's a lot. Okay. Now, let's just throw up one more. So 2 strikes. Strike on 46, 47. Stricken from the docket. Let's history. Let's see. There's something else. Another order came in today, late, because John Doe had filed today, this morning, another supplemental brief in support of his objection to Magistrate Judge Order 57. But let me just read it the way I see it here, so I don't want to get anything messed up. This is an order striking, so let's just start here. This came down, an order striking John Doe's supplemental brief in support of his objection to the magistrate judge's order 57. So the court has reviewed John Doe's supplemental brief in support of Rule 72, Objection to Magistrate's Order, ECF number 38, and motion to quash subpoena to block, ECF 57. The court strikes that document for the following reasons. Where does it highlight 1? Okay. Let's go to the superscript 1. It says, on January 14, 2025, the court referred matters for full pretrial to Judge Stafford. Remember, I have a judge, U.S. District Judge Levy, and there is a judge, magistrate Judge Stafford. So on January the 14th, 2025, the court referred matters for full pretrial to Judge Stafford, ECF number 7. This filing is stylized as a supplemental brief to Doe's objection to Judge Stafford's order, ECF number 4647, Doe's objections, because the court reviews objections to Judge Stafford's orders, it has reviewed and stricken this filing. Checkbox, wrong font size or improper formatting, either single space, improper margins, no page numbers, etc. So there's something in that. And an other. Doe's supplemental brief cites non-existent, seemingly AI-generated authority. Superscript 2, by referencing non-existent cases. Doe has wasted judicial resources and violated his obligations pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11B2, as he did in his stricken objections, ECF number 58, striking Doe's objections. The document ECF number 57 is stricken and not part of the record. It is so ordered. We'll go to 2 superscript. For example, Doe refers to Simplex Time Recorder Company versus SEC System, Inc., 766 F2D 575586, First Circular, 1985. ECF number 57, page ID 520. This case does not exist. The citation 766 F2D 757 refers to Simplex Time Recorder Company versus Secretary of Lab 766 F2D 575 DC Circular 1985, an opinion that has nothing to do with subpoenas and was issued by a different court with a different case name. So something is going on here. There's cases being cited that don't exist. There's different names, and, well, you can read it for yourself. Okay. So that was the third one that was stricken from the record today. Okay, hang on for a second, please. I am simply reviewing these orders. Okay. I'm not even giving that much commentary. I am giving some. Okay. Being, I think, objective to the facts as what's stated. So that my audience, and for most importantly, I understand why things were moved. It was the judge magistrate that is giving John Doe a second opportunity to correct what was filed. You know, the 17 pages that were filed twice. And then there's something else that won't be corrected. Well, that, as far as what the judge had ordered. Okay. So I have to wait for John. And that's the countdown that you see. 12 days, 23 hours, 27 minutes, 25 seconds. Because when his dates moved in this particular section of this case right now, what is at issue is the subpoena to block Cash App, which John Doe has filed a motion to quash, and the judge's order still remains that he disclose his identity. There will be arguments, okay, coming up, because in this motion to stay had to do with that in part. Because there were other things that were put in that brief that have been stricken from the record, or they're disappeared. Remember, I talked about there were a couple of things in there that John had admitted to. It's in my video, so I can talk about it because it was on the record at the time. And I'm not going to take down my video. Okay. My video isn't stricken. I made reference. That's why I take my time. I'm specific to what? So it's understood. But I said that I learned from that Danielle had access to, I'll just put it that way, to the Cash App account. Yeah. And we learned some other things, that John was a man and Daniel was a woman. There was a lot in that 17 pages. Recall, I said I'm not going to read it. And now it's gone. The judge struck it for reasons that she cited and that I read. Okay. It is serious. Not just for the defense, it's serious for the plaintiff. I'm included in all of this as far as making sure. And by me reading that, it's another call to make sure that whatever I am documenting, whatever I am citing, whatever I put before the judge, to the best of my ability, that it is, It is deliberate, considered, and truthful, and it makes sense. She called what was filed nonsensical. Although I didn't present to you what was in there, and there was a lot. But John Doe has an opportunity. That's fair. Remember I said, Lady Justice is blind to be objective. And I'm glad that I'm speaking on that and I'm talking about that because you can see that this judge, although, things appeared the way that they were, this judge made a decision to give John Doe a second chance to get it right, or to make a correction, I should say, to make a correction to what was stricken. And then I have a chance to respond. So, I better say for the record, I want it to be recorded for myself, just so I know I've spoken it. My understanding, and I will get this clarified, is that my response that the judge is saying, and then I can respond to the corrected, is not to do with the response to the quash, that I was supposed to respond to the quash after the motion to quash, after John revealed his true identity. I will just say that. Okay? And then I need to do my due diligence to make sure that what I think is, because there's a lot of moving parts now going on. Okay? And this is how it goes. So, you know what? I think this should end it for tonight. I've been on for an hour. I am going to read some of your comments. I appreciate those of you who bear with me, who, come and are interested in this case, because it's getting, there's a lot going on already. And decisions, D for decisions, orders, but there's decisions too to be made by the defendant. There's I'm waiting for things to happen before my response in certain things. And I don't think this shifts that I have to respond to the quash before I know who John is. I'll just leave it at that. So that, I said it's it's recorded. And now I can just, it's a process. It's day by day. I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if any, there have been motions filed, by the way, to strike my filings. All right. The judge, I don't think her decision was, you know what? I'll just say she struck. And she told us why she did. Okay. so I don't have to, the judge can, and judges do. It's not necessarily because someone files a motion, they can see something that doesn't follow a rule and they can strike. That's why it could happen also, on both sides. So I have to, understand this is serious. This is not a game. I am the plaintiff. I filed an 83-page complaint on March the 13th. The clerk signed, default in this case. Jane Doe, in the meantime, you saw how many John Doe. Jane Doe has been doing some things too, but right now seems the focus right now. Although there's responses that I'm making, I've got deadlines too. So when you see DForDirection, there's been some guidance, some direction in this case. And that has happened. Okay. I have a right to show that document, just like I did. It's there, it's on record. It's not to do anything outside of talk about the facts as I read them. And to you, cases are read all the time on various platforms. My countdown clock is real. You see, I reset it. I said it could change, and it did. Okay. So, again, I haven't said, you can email me at unwinewithteddy@gmail.com. And let's take a look at some of your comments. Where's my mouse? Here it is. It's a lot, isn't it? Yes. Let it rip. Listen carefully. Hang on. All right, I said 10 minutes, and we are up to, to winning. Okay. I'm looking. Thank you. Thank you. Cups, take your time. J&J, that would be John and Jane, want to use anything to throw the judge off, so let's not make it easy for them. It's your opinion. You stated that last night. And I appreciate everyone's opinion, as long as it's, great job, Teddy. We appreciate your voice and you educating us and fighting for us. We've got It's Not Me says The does should have enough respect for the law to not try to play in judges' faces. It's not a wise thing. Court is not YouTube. Uh, Jane Locke says, bravo. Let's see. No, this is not YouTube, Judge. Not at all. Not at all. This is federal court. And so there's a certain respect for the law, for the judge. I'm learning. I've already said it. I've clarified, guys. So don't anyone go running. It applies to everyone. You know, the judge isn't buying certain things. Take your time, bless. Yes. Let's see. Yes. I didn't take it that you can't use various resources, but when they are used, you gotta make sure you check and don't put anything that doesn't exist. Now I'm like, oh, yeah, right? It's because even if something is buried in 17 pages, 100 pages, however many pages, it appears that this judge and or judges are reviewing this case. Something came in today. The judge looked at it and it's gone. Okay. So this case is an active case. Yeah. And it's moving along, although things are getting a little, I don't know if you want to call it delay, but it's being pushed down, but being pushed out. And so when the judge makes a decision, what can we do? I can't tell people my moves. I'm not going to telegraph everything. I'm just going to tell you, here's, this is what we're dealing with. And yeah. And you'll know when things appear in the docket, history. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see lots of comments, and there's an email or two. You know what? Cups of conversation. It's true. What I'm doing is I am documenting on the journey as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is documenting it. It is. It's real. Yes, wasting court resources. They don't like that. So, in the future, I'll just say for me, okay, I absolutely don't want to waste a judge's time reading a lot of documents that, and things that aren't relevant. I don't. And we're just talking about one side right now because there hasn't been any response to all that other stuff yet. What is this? Wow. Okay. I'm just skimming through. You know, oh boy, if you people, there's a lot to read. That's all I can say. There's a lot being said. But Cups of Conversation says, I have known you of your channel for at least 4 years. I've never heard you get out of character, harass, or threaten to dox anyone. Your style and grace is one to be studied. Let people know I got skin in the game. And when I say game, I'm not talking about toys and things. It's the same. I'm talking about real life. Mm-hmm. I have a right to be passionate. That's not threatening at all. No. But things are being said, and I'll just leave it at that. In hundreds of pages. Go right ahead. But the truth, that's what I'm seeking. Truth and justice and fairness. That's it. And accountability. Let's not forget. Thanks, everyone, for supporting me tonight. It is 1 a.m. We can talk about some other things that are a little bit outside of this. But I think that's it for tonight. Okay. Biggest bear hugs go out to all the grizzlies and the honey bears. Please hit the like on your way out and join me, I guess, sometime tomorrow. I got a lot of things to do. It'll be, Thursday? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keep your bear phones on. Check the community wall. And that's it. It's 1 a.m. straight up and down. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Teddy. Good night.